Send me a message, like location, I'm gonna come. Whatever you want, doesn't matter. Ireland, New York, Brooklyn, or Moscow, doesn't matter. Tell me.
What if I told you there was a UFC fighter who never lost? A fighter who stepped into the octagon 29 times against the best in the world and walked out undefeated every single time. A fighter who never bled in a fight, never got knocked down, and never even needed a rematch. Khabib Nurmagomedov wasn't just dominant, he was unstoppable. He ran through the UFC's toughest contenders, breaking their spirits with relentless pressure, unshakable discipline, and a style so suffocating that his opponents looked helpless. From smashing Conor McGregor in the biggest fight in UFC history to retiring as an undefeated champion, Khabib built a legacy that may never be matched. But what made him so different? How did a kid from the mountains of Dagestan rise to become one of the most feared fighters of all time? To find out, we have to go back to where it all began. The story of Khabib Nurmagomedov doesn't start in a gym. It doesn't start with a scouting report or a college wrestling career like many American fighters. It starts somewhere far more rugged, far more unforgiving. The mountains of Dagestan, a region where combat sports aren't just sports, they're a way of life. Dagestan is a land of warriors. Tucked away in the North Caucasus region of Russia, it is a place known for its deep-rooted history of conflict, resistance, and survival. For centuries, Dagestanis have been forced to fight, whether against invaders, harsh environments, or even each other. Wrestling, boxing, and sambo aren't just hobbies here. They are embedded in the culture. Young boys grow up idolizing fighters the same way kids in the US dream of being basketball or football stars. The terrain itself breeds toughness. Towering mountains, rough landscapes, and brutal winters make even the simplest tasks more difficult. Training here isn't about luxury gyms or high-tech equipment, it's about grit. Fighters run up steep hills for endurance, wrestle on concrete floors, and spar in dimly lit rooms where sweat and blood stain the walls. This was the world Khabib was born into. Born on September 20th, 1988, Khabib grew up in a world where toughness was the price of survival. In Dagestan, wrestling isn't something you choose to do, it's something you have to do. Boys as young as 5 begin training, and Khabib was no exception. He had a head start, though, because his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, wasn't just any coach. He was a legendary trainer, a former Soviet Army veteran, and a man with a deep understanding of combat sambo, judo, and wrestling. Khabib's childhood was anything but normal. While most kids played with toys, he was wrestling actual bears. There's footage, real footage, of a young Khabib, no older than 9 or 10, locked in a grappling exchange with a bear, learning firsthand what it meant to deal with an opponent that wouldn't back down. His father believed that if Khabib could handle the sheer force and unpredictability of a wild animal, then no man inside a cage could ever shake him. But it wasn't just the physical aspect that made Khabib different. It was the discipline drilled into him from a young age. Abdulmanap was a man of strict principles. Training wasn't optional. Hard work wasn't a suggestion. Khabib wasn't allowed to slack, to take shortcuts, or to cut corners. His father's belief was simple. If you do something, you do it to be the best. And for Khabib, there was no other option. Every single day, he would train. Wrestling, running up mountains. His father didn't just teach him how to fight. He taught him how to suffer, how to embrace the grind, how to push past his limits. By the time Khabib was a teenager, he wasn't just another fighter in Dagestan. By 17, he had already become a decorated sambo competitor, winning national and international titles. But Abdulmanap had bigger plans for his son. He didn't just want Khabib to dominate in sambo. He wanted him to take over the world of mixed martial arts. And so, the journey to becoming a legend truly began. With nothing but his father's training, his relentless work ethic, and an unbreakable mindset, Khabib set out to prove himself in the world of professional MMA. He wasn't just fighting for money or fame, he was fighting for his family, for his country, for the legacy his father envisioned for him. By the time Khabib made his professional MMA debut in 2008, he had honed his skills to a razor's edge. He wasn't merely a prospect, he was an unstoppable force. His early fights in Russia and Ukraine were a testament to his preparation, showcasing his incredible wrestling prowess and adaptability. Each bout was a masterclass in combat. Opponents fell victim to his suffocating control and relentless strategy. With a fighting style that applied relentless pressure, Khabib quickly made it clear that once he got his hands on an opponent, the fight would inevitably end in his favor. In just over 3 years, he completed a remarkable run of 16 victories, finishing most through submissions or brutal ground and pound. This wasn't just winning, it was domination, an exhibition of grappling that left his competitors grasping for breath and struggling to escape his iron grip. As word spread of Khabib's exploits, his reputation reached beyond the borders of Dagestan. Fighters, coaches, and promoters began to take notice, and whispers of his potential echoed through the MMA community. Khabib was not just another regional standout, he was unique, a blend of fierce determination and exceptional skill. His uncanny ability to dictate the pace in the cage made him a nightmare for anyone who dared to step into the octagon with him. Opponents began to anticipate fights against Khabib with trepidation, understanding that they were not merely facing a challenger, they were going up against a phenomenon. However, despite his growing fame and success, the ultimate challenge awaited him. The road was paved with hurdles that only the most dedicated fighters could overcome, and Khabib was resolute in his quest. In late 2011, after years of grinding out victories and gaining recognition, he signed with the UFC, marking the beginning of a new chapter that would redefine his career. This was the moment his father had strategically prepared him for, the culmination of all the training, sacrifice, and discipline. As Khabib finally entered the octagon, it was evident that this was more than just another fight. It represented everything he and his father had worked towards. His UFC debut came on January 20th, 2012, against Kamal Shaloris, and skepticism hung in the air. Many saw Khabib as a newcomer who had dominated the local scene, but had yet to prove himself against elite-level competition. Yet Khabib was unfazed. From the first bell, he unleashed a torrent of his training, executing takedown after takedown, showcasing the grappling skills that had made him a household name in Dagestan. Khabib's UFC debut in 2012 was a sign of things to come. He dismantled Kamal Shaloris with ease, showcasing his suffocating wrestling and relentless pace. But the real statement came in his next fights. He ragdolled Abel Trujillo, setting a UFC record by securing 21 takedowns in a single fight. That wasn't just dominance, it was humiliation for his opponent. Khabib's long-awaited title shot came at UFC 223 in April 2018, where he faced Ali Iaquinta for the vacant lightweight belt. Although originally scheduled to fight Tony Ferguson, multiple opponent changes led to Khabib facing Iaquinta on short notice. Despite this unexpected challenge, Khabib dominated all 5 rounds, securing the UFC lightweight championship and marking the beginning of his reign. As champion, Khabib defended his title with precision and dominance. But as dominant as Khabib was, the world wanted to see him against one man: Conor McGregor. The clash with Conor McGregor. More than just a fight, UFC 229 wasn't just a fight. It was a cultural war, a clash of styles, personalities, and national pride. McGregor, the brash Irishman known for his trash talk.
I came back for the love of this, to come and shut this man up. A little rat, a little weasel, a little hard man in groups. I've met many of them through my years. A man who grows in numbers, but on his own, and when confronted in a similar situation, cowers away.
Launched a months-long psychological assault on Khabib, insulting his family, religion, and homeland. The build-up was marked by chaos, including McGregor attacking Khabib's team bus in Brooklyn, an incident that only added fuel to the fire. When they finally met inside the octagon, Khabib let his skills do the talking. From the opening bell, he overwhelmed McGregor with relentless wrestling, striking, and suffocating pressure. In the second round, he knocked McGregor down with a right hand, proving he wasn't just a grappler. By the fourth round, Khabib secured a neck crank submission, forcing McGregor to tap. However, what happened after the fight was just as shocking. Khabib, fueled by months of insults, leaped over the cage to attack McGregor's teammate Dylan Dennis, sparking a massive brawl between both camps. The incident led to suspensions and fines, but also cemented UFC 229 as the biggest pay-per-view event in UFC history. The aftermath was complex. Some criticized Khabib for his actions, while others sympathized, understanding that the buildup had gone too far. Regardless, Khabib had proven beyond doubt that he was the best lightweight in the world. More importantly, he had defended his honor and that of his homeland. After defeating McGregor, Khabib defended his title against two more elite lightweights, Dustin Poirier, a well-rounded fighter with knockout power, high-level boxing, and slick submissions. Poirier came into the fight as the interim lightweight champion, riding a wave of momentum. He had defeated some of the best in the division, including Max Holloway and Eddie Alvarez. But against Khabib, all of that was neutralized. Khabib smothered him with relentless pressure, constantly taking him down and wearing him out. In the second round, Poirier saw a brief moment of hope, locking in a deep guillotine choke. But Khabib remained calm, escaping with textbook technique. In the third round, exhausted and overwhelmed, Poirier succumbed to a tight rear-naked choke, tapping out as Khabib secured yet another dominant victory. Justin Gaethje, a feared striker known for his violent fighting style and knockout power, combined with an impressive NCAA Division I wrestling background. Many believed Gaethje's wrestling could pose a unique challenge to Khabib, but that theory was quickly disproven. Khabib effortlessly took Gaethje down, controlling him on the ground with ease. What made this fight even more special was the way Khabib chose to finish it. Knowing Gaethje's parents were in attendance, Khabib opted for a triangle choke instead of an armbar, sparing his opponent the pain of a broken arm. Gaethje had no choice but to tap out in the second round, marking Khabib's final victory in the octagon. After his dominant win over Gaethje, Khabib shocked the world by announcing his retirement.
I want to say it was my last fight, and no way I'm gonna come here.
His father, Abdul Manap, had passed away earlier that year due to complications from COVID-19, and Khabib made a promise to his mother that he would never fight again without his father in his corner. Unlike many fighters who struggle with retirement, Khabib never wavered. He walked away from the sport at the peak of his career, undefeated at 29-0, and never looked back. However, retirement didn't mean slowing down. He shifted his focus to coaching and mentorship, taking on a new role that suited him perfectly. Khabib founded the Eagle Fighting Championship, which became a testament to his vision of cultivating the next generation of fighters. He built a training empire based on the principles his father taught him, emphasizing hard work, respect, and resilience. Notably, Khabib took on several fighters under his wing, helping them navigate the challenging world of mixed martial arts. Among his most prominent protégés was Islam Makhachev, a fellow Dagestani grappler who would rise rapidly through the UFC ranks. Under Khabib's guidance, Makhachev honed his skills, blending his natural talent with the rigorous training regimen that Khabib had mastered. Together, they forged a bond built on mutual respect and ambition, and Khabib's mentorship became instrumental in Makhachev's ascent to becoming a title contender, mirroring the trajectory Khabib had carved out years earlier. Khabib's impact continued to resonate as other fighters also emerged from Dagestan, each carrying the torch of excellence that he had lit. They followed his example of balancing intensity in training with a grounded lifestyle, promoting not just the sport, but also the values that had shaped them. Khabib didn't just retire as a champion, he retired as an icon. His legacy is more than just numbers. It's about the way he fought, the discipline he showed, and the respect he commanded inside and outside the octagon. He never lost a round decisively. He never bled in a fight. He never needed a rematch. But perhaps what is often overlooked is the profound role his faith played in shaping his career. Khabib's unwavering commitment to Islam wasn't just a personal matter. It was the foundation of his strength and discipline. His belief in God provided him with an inner peace and focus that transcended the pressure of the sport. Khabib has always emphasized that his success wasn't due to just physical prowess or technique, but because of his deep faith, which guided him in his journey and kept him grounded. In the world of MMA, where legends rise and fall, Khabib Nurmagomedov remains untouchable. He walked away on his terms, undefeated, undisputed, and unchallenged. The question is, will we ever see another fighter like him, or is Khabib truly one of a kind? However, there's another question on the horizon. Will the Dagestani fighters, under Khabib's leadership and mentorship, rise to take over the UFC? With the talent and determination emerging from this region, many believe that the next generation of Dagestani warriors could dominate the octagon just as Khabib did. Could the UFC be on the verge of a new era, one led by these rising stars? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to hear more incredible stories about the warriors in the octagon. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.